Hi Flosstube, I'm Kenny and this is my channel Kenny Stitches. I'm also Kenny Stitches on Instagram. Today is Saturday, March 15th, and this is going to be part one of my 4-part WIP parade. Allie Z is Crafty. I met her at the Queen City retreat and she asked basically for another WIP parade, and I, with all the WIPs I had, didn't know how I was going to tackle it, and she's like, just divide it up. And that's what I'm doing. So it'll be in 4 parts. Today's part's gonna be sampler-ish things, samplers and sampler-ish things. If I have some like holiday samplers, some are mixed in here, some are mixed in my holiday tote. That'll be another video. So I'll have samplers, holiday, fancy ladies, and miscellaneous. The fancy ladies is gonna be probably the last video because it's going to be the longest. So lots of Bellas, Miras, and Joan Elliott's. So yeah, I'm hoping with the WIP parade, when I go through all these WIPs, I'll look at some things that I haven't seen in a while, maybe kind of get a spark for them again, or just decide that I'm not going to continue with them and eventually rip out the progress and yeah, use the fabric for something else. So this will be lots of zipping and unzipping. So yeah, let's, I guess, get started. I'm gonna try to remember fabrics from memory. If it's something you absolutely have to know, put it in the comments below and I will dig through my Instagram, Facebook, whatever to find the fabric, and I'll answer you in the comments. So the first project I have, this is a small start on Tyler's Lion by Long Dog Samplers. I'll put a photo in here because I don't have the cover with me. The first few projects I'll be putting photos in. So I think this is a 46 count. It's either a 40 or a 46 count linen, and I'm using DMC 954. And this is a project, I like the pattern, but I'm not sure I like this combination. So here's the little start I did. The fabric's pretty true. The thread's a little washed out, but it's DMC 954. I started it, and I started in the top left corner, and I just wasn't sure, so I kind of put it away. Now that I'm looking at it again, I kind of like it, but I'm still not 100% sold on the color. So I love the fabric color though. And that one, if you have an idea for a fabric or a thread color that you think would look good, let me know, because it's not a lot of progress and I would be happy to frog it. Next, this is Lo and Behold from Long Dog Sampler, and it's a 46 count vanilla bean from Hand Dyed by Rolanda. And I'm using her hand-dyed floss black cherry. I'm using the cottons. And this is my progress on Lo and Behold. And you can see there some of the variation. I'll put a cover photo in here. But yeah, I love Long Dog Samplers. I just don't like the process of stitching Long Dog Samplers. So you'll see several Long Dogs in this video. Starts, some have more progress than others. Next is Fox Forest from Owl Forest Embroidery. And it's kind of samplery, but I did get the kit. And this is my progress on it. I'm using all the called for kit threads and the kit fabric. That cute little fox right there. I have quite a few Owl Forest kits and patterns and thread packs. Some thread packs, but not the patterns. Some patterns, but not the thread packs. So, and some of them, like this one, I'm just stitching the DMC conversion. This is Hedgehog Meadow from Owl Forest. And again, I'm not super far. I have the start of a little hedgehog right there. And this is like a kind of mint, meadowy green. That's a little better. It's a 28 count Lugana, I believe. The next one is another long dog. It's Castles in the Air. And this is 40 count. It's a 40 count linen from Under the Sea Fabrics. How does it go? Like this. So I started in the middle on this one, kind of before I was brave enough to start in the top corner. My floss is Cherry Garcia from Threadworks. I'm trying to get the best light. There we go. It's kind of an overcast day here. We had thunderstorms. We were in that path of the thunderstorms last night, and about 3:30 this morning our power went out and was out for about 4.5, 5 hours. So finally came back on around 8-ish, I think, and it went out about 4:30. So the next one is another long dog. It's Quinto Acuto, and I am using a 40 count white, just plain white even weave, but I am using a Silks for You silk. Just a little start in the top corner there. This one is one I do want to get back to. Like, I've seen people make progress on this, and this is just one that I really, really like. And this is one of their like regular mainline colors. I think it's PR 181 or 184. I will find out for sure, but it's the Hank I'm using. That's going to take a fat half of 40 count. Next, this is Cross-Eyed Cricket, A Walk in the Woods. My aunt actually gave me this pattern. I'm not very far. This is a 32 count linen from Fabrics by Stephanie. I'm not sure of the name, but just got some letters in there. And I'm just using the DMC colors. Everything's called for on it. This one is an Etsy pattern. It's called Moths and Bugs. The shop was Punochka? Anyways, Northern Stitches. I think they're on Etsy as Northern Stitches now. So here's the cover photo. And I just barely have the center motif started. This is a 28 Jobelin. I'm not sure of the color. I'd have to find it. I think it's Briar Rose from Fabrics by Stephanie. And the last pattern I have that does not have a cover with me is Well Suited from Ink Circles. I bought the PDF, and I don't ever usually print the cover of the PDF. This is a 32 count opal linen, I believe from Under the Sea Fabrics. I think it's Properly Primitive. There's my start. This Properly Primitive is, along with Heaven's Fury, is one of my favorite Leslie Under the Sea fabrics. the way it dyes on the different counts and the way it just models is really pretty. Okay. Next, this is Elegant Squid from Ink Circles. And my fabric is, I believe, Chesapeake Bay 32 count linen from Under the Sea Fabrics. I'm doing a silk conversion, and somewhere, I think I already ripped it out. I messed up. I need to go back at the pattern and look, but I'm using, let's see. Of course I don't. I know they're Belsois silks. This is the dark color, and then this is the light color. I don't have the tags. I don't think I wrote them down either. So hopefully one hank of each one gets me through, because I don't know what they are to reorder them. Next, this is the Dragons of Sumatra from Ink Circles. And I'm using, it's an Under the Sea Fabrics 40 count. It was a fabric of the month, and I think it's called, I don't remember, it's something Sunset, I think. Bali Sunset, maybe. Here's my start. And I'm using another Silks for You, Hank. It's this kind of dark burgundy red. The fabric in real life is kind of more orangey pink with some purple undertones. It's getting washed out. Next is Get Crackin' from Ink Circles. And I'm using, I think this is Winterbrook 40 count linen from Under the Sea Fabrics, opal linen. And I'm using all the called for threads. This is my little progress start there. I love this pattern. I don't know why. I mean, I know why I stopped working on it, because my attention span's like, but I think I'll keep this one out and throw a few more stitches on it this month. This one is Vintage Birds from Jeanette Douglas. My friend Sherry just finished this. Well, she finished it, I think, last year, and it's beautiful. I'm using all the called for threads, all the overdyes, and my fabric is, it's an Opal Belfast. I don't know I don't know the dyer. I could find it if you're interested, but here's my progress with all those little Smyrna stitches there, or Algerian eyelets, sorry. Smyrna? No, they're Algerian eyelets. These peacock colors are just stunning. There we go, that's pretty true there. I believe this is a fabric. It was a fabric by Stephanie Fabric. Gingerbread, maybe. This is the Forests of Sumatra. Again, I'm not very far on it. This is 40 count Autumn from Under the Sea Fabrics. I have a little more done than I thought. So I'm using a Threadworks. I really like the Threadworks. This is Threadworks 10362. And this is an opal linen. A long way to go, but I love the green and the brown thread on this fabric. I think this video is going to be equal parts me showing off WIPs and equal parts me putting them away. This is Huckleberry Farm from the Blue Flower. I'm sure you've seen it, you know it, I love it. And I'm using a 36 count linen, which I'm usually not a fan of, but I'm using 36 count linen from Black Cauldron Dye Works. I don't know the name, but I am using the DMCs. I'm using the DMC colors, and I'm doing 1 strand over 2. And here's my progress. I can't decide with this one if I like this one or the camping one more, which you'll see here in just a minute, but they're both cute and they look really good hanging together, I think. Next, this is one that I love everything. I love the piece. I love my fabric. This is Summer Quaker from Leela's Studio. I just ordered the Winter Quaker Peace on Earth from Be Stitch Me. Hopefully it comes in the next week or so. And I'm using 40 count Water Nymph from Be Stitch Me. Left my needle minders on. And here's my progress. And it's all in DMC. It's charted in DMC. Again, my friend Sherry Bear Stitcher, she finished this and she's just got it back framed recently from her LNS, and they did a fantastic job. She did a fantastic job too, but yeah, this is my progress. This is 40 count, 1 over 2. This is another one I kind of want to keep out and work on because it's been neglected for a little bit. And I should make some progress on it before I start the winter one, which is a must stitch for me. Another ink circles. This is the Star of Sumatra. And I'm using Water Lilies Ethiopia for the thread. This purple's orange, gray, brown. And my fabric is a Be Stitch Me. Did I save the card? No. I did not. It's a 40 count even weave. I've gotten into the habit recently of leaving my tags on the fabric, but I didn't with this one for some reason. And now I'm wondering, oh, it's a square, so it doesn't matter. I was wondering if I started it the right way, but this is my start. There's a teeny little start. I'm not sure. I was trying to think what it is, but I know it's a 40 count even weave, so it's my little itty bitty start. I've started to really like the even weave more than linen. I like how light it is. I just enjoy stitching on it more, I think, than the linen, which I still love linen, but I have more even weave now than I have linen in 40 count. This little piece is the floral alphabet from JBW Designs. And I'm using DMC Coloris 4501 on Icicle 28 count Lugana from Under the Sea Fabrics. Goes like this. It's hard to see on the camera, but it really pops in person. I don't know how to get it to show any better. I don't know. That's my little start on it. Next, this is All Hallows Eve sampler from Joan Elliott. And I'm using Coloris 32 count linen from Under the Sea Fabrics. I actually started this in the pandemic. Like, I remember sitting on my couch at home and I started this and stitched on it for a few days, but here's my progress. And I'm actually farther on this than I thought when I got it out. I thought I just had this. I didn't even think I was done with this, so now I'm pleasantly surprised, and I may keep this out too. And I am not I only stitch Halloween at Halloween time. Like, I will stitch the holidays all year round, especially Halloween. Did I say I'll stitch Halloween? I'll stitch holidays all year round, but especially Halloween. This is another Ink Circles. It's called Fairies Dwell here. Oh no, Fairy Ring Around the Rosy, sorry. And I'm using Weeks Dye Works Bethlehem. And my fabric is just a 28 count Jovelin Lavender Sunset. It doesn't have a dyer. But here's my progress. I've got basically the top left corner done, going toward the middle. So I love the way that thread looks on this fabric. Next, this is Midsummer Song by Luminous Fiber Arts. And this is my start/progress. I'm using just the DMCs. I think it's charted. Yeah, it's charted with Weeks and Classic Colorworks and a couple DMCs, but I just started it with the DMC. This is a 28 count, I think. It's an Opal Lugana. It's kind of a pinkish purple. But here's my start. I feel like I messed up somewhere and ripped it out, and that's why I put it away. You can see the bird starting to take shape right there. Feeling this now, I think it's definitely a 32 count Lugana. It's stiffer than a 28 count. All right. Next, this is Nora's Alphabet. It was a Cross My Heart, I think was the LNS in Columbus, Ohio. I bought this at my first ever retreat, Under the Sea Fabrics Mirabilia retreat. It's Nora Corbett's script and some of her designs. A little pear, a peony, and a feather. And it's charted all in DMC except for the letters are It's a Gloriana Cottage Woods. And I think everybody and their sister bought this at the retreat. And so by the time I got there, there was not any of the Gloriana left. So I just subbed with Karen Water Lilies 105. Again, it's hard to see on this fabric on the camera. You can see it more in person, but I've got basically the middle row of letters done. Well, not even. I still have S and T on the middle row, and I have Z on the bottom row to go. But yeah, the letters stitch up really quickly. I need to get down to the bottom and do the pear and the flower and the feather. Words are hard today. And this is a 32 count Lugana from Under the Sea Fabrics. I don't know the name though. I think it might have been a mist dye. Next, she's a big one. This is the ABC tapestry from Rosewood Manor. My friend Leah and I started stitching this together, and she has now finished this, and it's amazing. I have not. She did hers, I think, in pinks and purples, and I'm doing mine in DMC jewel tones, so yeah. This is kind of my color palette. And I'm only on the first block, but I'm stitching this on a 55 count linen sandbar from Under the Sea Fabrics. So my blocks are only gonna be about this big. You can see my hand here for reference, but really teeny tiny stitches. The back stitch is like incredibly small. But I love this. It's 1/2 on 55 count. And I'm just gonna kind of rotate the colors across, so. I think Leah's goal was to finish 1 block a month, and I think by the time it was said and done, I think she met her goal. She might have stitched 2 blocks here and there to catch up, but she did it, so. This is the Floral motif sampler from Scarlet House. And it's charted in Gentle Arts and Weeks Dye Works with a DMC conversion, and I did the DMC conversion. I'm usually a frugal, cheap stitcher, so. This is 40 count Anya from Under the Sea Fabrics. And here's my start. It's kind of a really light pink in person, the fabric. So there's there's the start of the border and one of the, what is that? Is that a flower pot? Yeah, it's an urn for the flowers. Right there, that's where I'm at. That was one of my 3 years ago, Tiara retreat. Me and my friend Andrea, we started a new project every hour for like 6 or 7 hours, and that was one of the starts. Next, what do we got here? Oh, it's the Sing a Series sampler, the Do Re Mi sampler from Silver Creek. And I'm stitching this. I did get all the called for over dyes. Again, I'm stitching it on 55 count. And this is, I think, Autumn from Under the Sea Fabrics. So I finished one. I finished the sew block. And again, like here's my hand for reference. These are fairly good size. I mean, I don't know the exact stitch count, but there's my progress. It's really soft. Like, I can't get over how soft it is in person, the fabric. Those two projects, the 55 count, I have to be on it. Like, I can't be distracted with my phone, watching TV. I have to have my good lighting because it's rough. This is Circular Logic from Ink Circles. And my fabric is Looking Glass 28 count opal linen. And I'm using DMC 400 and Threadworks 1001. So the inside of my circles are this variegated color, and then the borders of the circles are DMC 400. Here's my progress. I guess I should figure out how it goes. I'm gonna go with this because the tag's at the top. So not a lot to write home about, but you get the idea of like my color scheme and where I was going with it. I feel like these ink circles, like especially this one, if I just sat down and focused on it, I would really enjoy stitching it and could probably knock it out rather quickly. This is, I call it the peacock tree from GGR Designs. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce this in French, but this is the pattern. And I'm stitching it on 40 count opal something from Under the Sea Fabrics. Galeen maybe. Here's my start. And the silk I am using a silk. It's a Dinky Dyes. It's called Down Under Blues. Might help if I don't show you the back. By the way, this video is like all possible with my friend Brandy. She came over last weekend and we went through my craft room and we organized my fabrics. We went through boxes and bags and totes, and she helped me organize the patterns in my WIPs. And yeah, so this WIP parade got a lot less daunting. I have now located all of my WIPs. They are in bags like these, and they are sorted where they need to be. Next, this is Isabella Ufendel from Hands Across the Sea. My chart's a little bent from storing it, but this is a big chart. And I'm stitching it on, it's 28 count Queen Anne's lace, or no, 32 count Queen Anne's lace Jobelin from Witchell. And I'm just using the DMC. This is a big piece of fabric, but here's my start on it. this is one, like, I loved it when I got it, and now I'm not sure if I want to continue it or just scrap it and use the fabric for other pieces, because again, I'm not very far, but I'm just not sure I love it anymore. It's beautiful stitched up. I've seen it on Instagram and other people's Flosstubes. It's beautiful, but I'm just not sure it's something I'm gonna want to stitch on anymore. Next, this is Rosewood Manors and a Forest Grew. I think this started a few years ago during the pandemic. It was a stitch along in one of the groups I'm in on Facebook. And again, I'm not super far on it. And it's charted with DMC. My fabric is Ice Princess 40 count linen from Under the Sea Fabrics. And here's my little star on it. So I got a tree and a bird and whatever's happening here, the start of another tree. Teeny tiny. And I'm using one strand over two. Next is, this is Vintage Lace from Rosewood Manor. And I'm stitching it with the called for overdyes on Black Magic 32 count linen from Under the Sea Fabrics. And I just barely have a border started. There's my border start. This is the fabric I'm using. There's my start on the border. And it's charted with Weeks Dye Works. And I'm using all of Weeks Dye Works. Next is the Camberley sampler from Rosewood Manor. I'm using DMC on, did I save the tag? No. It's a 40 count Be Stitch Me Even Weave. I do know that much. And here is my start. I'm using all the DMC 1/2. I thought, when I got this out, I thought, oh no, the thread bled, but it's actually in the fabric elsewhere too, so it's part of the fabric, but here's my start on it. Next is the Shores of Hawk Run Hollow from Carriage House Samplings. I'm using DMC, I think it's, I use the DMC conversion. This is 40 count Stone Washed from Under the Sea Fabrics. I have finished one block. I finished the first block, and I'm maybe halfway done with the second block. This is the farthest on any of my Hawthorne Hollow patterns that I am. So, I love this. I think it's perfect for the summer, spring, summer stitching. This first block, this water was a task and a half, but it's not even the fullest coverage block, so still got a ways to go. This is Saga from Long Dog Samplers. I cannot take credit for what I'm doing. A woman in one of the Facebook groups, she did these mock-ups, like this variegated mock-up. So this is kind of my color scheme that I'm doing. So like this color becomes this, and then this color, like it just fades into each arch goes into the next arch. So that didn't even make sense, but my fabric is lavender tea, 40 count opal linen, and it takes a fat half. It's another big one. And here's where I am on the first block. So I've almost got, do I have the first one? So the inside of the first block is done. I'm just working on the arches now. And I'll show you the colors I picked for it. This is my color scheme here. One day I will finish a long dog. Another long dog sampler. This is Before I Sleep. And I am using DMC 501 on, I think it's Evergreen. I think the fabric is Evergreen, 40 count opal, or no, 40 count even weave from Be Stitch Me. Here's my start. Kind of a green on green thing happening here. I don't know that this is really a sampler, but it is in the sampler tote. This is the Venetian Lion from Dirty Annie's. This was probably my favorite market release last year, and she sent it to me, very graciously sent it to me. I'm using DMC in the Petite Silk Maze. This is Harvest Blessings 32 count opal linen from Seraphim Fabrics. And yeah, there's my start. There's so many color changes in this. It is insane, but the effect is just beautiful. So there's my start. I'm probably gonna put this to the side too and keep it out. This was my only mania start last year. I didn't get very far, but this is the Serenity sampler from Teresa Kogut. And I'm using DMC. I don't know. Yeah, it's charted in DMC in weeks, but I'm just using DMC for the whole thing. And this is a 40 count linen. Try and see how it goes. Okay. I don't know what the fabric is without pulling it up, but here's my very teeny tiny little start. And it takes also a fat half. This is Blue Flower, Happy Campers. I'm stitching it with DMC. No, I have some of the overdyes. So I'm stitching it as charted. And this one I saved the tag. It's Ledger 40 count even weave from Bestitch Me. Is my start. There's that tree in the corner. Now I want to keep everything out, like winding down the stack here. This is the winter sampler from Crochet A Go Go. And fabric is Boston 40 count linen from Seraphim Fabrics. And here's my little border start. It's charred in DMC, so I'm doing one strand over two. I love these Crochet A Go Go patterns. I have the spring sampler kitted. I have the Halloween sampler kitted. I need more time. This is Hawthorne Hill sampler from Rosewood Manor. Sorry, there's a high pollen count here today, and my nose is dry, my sinuses are dry. I do have all the called for overdyes for this. And I'm stitching it on pink chocolate 40 count even weave from Bestitch Me. And I have the alphabet start in the top. This is another one, like, I just want to keep it out. I kind of wanted this to not stand out like super harsh, but kind of blend in. So, I mean, in person, you can see it in person. It's just really soft and subtle. Okay, I'm gonna put this on my keep out pile. Next, this is Black Roses from Owl Forest Embroidery. So, My fabric is 40 count Autumn Glow from Oak Crown Studios. I bought this fabric and the threads at the Queen City retreat in October and started it there. You've probably seen it in one of my previous videos if you have watched past videos. But here's my start on it. So my plan is the roses are done in this DMC Coloris 4504. 4504. This dark green is going to be the building color, and then the queen is going to be in this light green. And I think I'm going to pull, for her little bird here, I'm going to pull out the pink color from the Coloris and match it to a DMC and stitch the bird in the dark pink color. Also, if anybody is going to watch all 4 videos and you're actively counting my WIPs, please let me know. This is from Twin Peaks Primitives. All I have is a black and white photo, but it's the I'll Be Home series, all cottages. I think Pam from Just Keep Stitching was working on this, and her, Stephanie, whichever one, I can't remember, sorry, but they inspired me to buy it. And I'm stitching mine. I don't know what fabric this is. I don't have the tag, but I'm stitching mine. Trying to figure out, oh, so I'm stitching mine over 1 on 28 count, so I could get it to fit on a fat quarter. And I don't know what the fabric is. It's a Jobelin of some kind, but that's my little start. And I'm stitching it all in DMC. Next is the Dinosaur Forest from Owl Forest Embroidery. I actually have the box for this one. So I'm using all the kit threads, fabric, and I don't know why it's, there we go. So I've actually got a good little bit done on this one. I love this. If you have not used Owl Forest and you've been curious, their patterns are really well charted. Their threads are really nice to work with. Yes, you pay a little in shipping for it, and the ship time can be, a few weeks, but it's worth it. This is the Fisher King from Long Dog Samplers. And I'm stitching this on 40 count Dusty Road from Seraphim Fabrics, and I'm using DMC 918. Here's my little start. I do have, for all this back stitching and stuff, I wanted to use a metallic, so I have this dark brown Krennic blending filament. I think some of the areas, like, it'll be hard to show here, like these water lines and like around this lighthouse, it's so dense that I think Petite Treasure Braid's gonna be too thick on 40 count, but I think blending filament is gonna be perfect for it. So as soon as I have some I can do in this butterfly right here, I might throw this back on the Q-snap and back stitch that butterfly and see how it turns out. Next, this is Quaker Mermaid from RETM / Quaker Fantasies. I am stitching this with the called for overdyes and DMCs, and I believe this is 40 count Emerald Grotto from Under the Sea Fabrics. There's my little start. Oh, it's upside down. Okay. There we go. So there's my little start. I think I started this with Leslie from Under the Sea Fabrics. I don't know if she got any further than I did, but yeah, that's where I'm at. This is an opal 40 count linen. I think I said that, but I kind of forgot about this one, if I'm being honest, that I have it started. I have a few other RE whips, and for some reason they're in my miscellaneous box. It's the fairy tale series, so those will come out in one of the next parts. This is Oh Joyous Day from Blackboard Designs, and I'm stitching it on 40 count with DMC. I don't know, I think this might be Malicious from Leslie at Under the Sea Fabrics. But here's my progress on it. And again, I'm using DMC 1/2. I can't believe that's really my only Blackboard whip, I think. I have a few others, and I'm surprised I haven't started like Away We Ride, or is it the Midnight Sampler or something like that. I have both of those, just haven't started them. This is Map at Hawk Run Hollow from Carriage House Samplings. And I'm stitching it on 40 count Opal Linen Autumn from Under the Sea Fabrics. My progress. I picked this back up a month ago maybe, and started stitching the flag in here. My working copy wasn't great, and it was hard to decipher where the stitches went in the flag, so I'm working on it, trying to get through it, but I do like this pattern a lot. Only a few more. We're just about an hour in, so I'd say that's pretty good. This is the Quaker Seasons of Friendship from Crown and Thistle. She hasn't made a Flosstube in a while, but Carla, Rolodex Stitches, she was working on this, and she told me where to get it. I ordered it from a shop in Virginia. I think they have the rights to it, so it's big. It's 440 by 250, and I'm stitching this on 55 count with Dreamtime silk from Dinky Dyes. And my fabric it's Looking Glass 55 count from Under the Sea Fabrics. And here's my start. I just want to see if you can see how tiny these stitches are, like, compared to my hand. If you can stitch on 55 count, I mean, kudos, but I just love how tiny and delicate it looks. It makes me happy. And we're stuck. Next is With the Needle 2 from Leela's Studio. And I know I'm not very far on this. This is 40 count opal autumn linen from Under the Sea Fabrics. Does it go? I'm guessing it goes like this. I don't know for sure, but yeah, not very far at all. You know what? I think it goes up. Yeah, because that's starting the borders of the boxes, so it goes up like this. Throwing stuff on the floor. This is Summer Sampler from Sarah Guermani. And I'm stitching this on Properly Primitive 40 count linen from Under the Sea Fabrics. Fun fact, I started this and have no idea where the threads went, but it's just DMC, so should be easy to get back up. Little cactus plants in the center there. There we go. That's pretty accurate there, sorry. Four more. This is 'Twas the Night from Sue Hillis Designs. I guess this could have went in my holiday box, but it crossed over into the samplers. This is a 28 count opal Lugana from I don't know who, off the top of my head. And it's charted with, I think it's charted in DMC. Yeah, it's charted in DMC. And here is my progress. So I've got quite a bit done. And again, here's another project that I don't know where the threads went. I feel like stitching words and letters goes by really quickly. So maybe I will keep this one out too. I'll pull the threads again and keep it out. This is a project, a WIP I inherited from my friend Julie. I wanted the pattern and she sent it to me with her WIP saying she'll never finish it. So this is from the Deep from Plum Street Sampler. I stitched, I don't know if it was really a companion, but it was like the mermaid song, siren song sampler. And then I had to get this one. So she's stitching it. This fabric is, knowing Julie, it's a 28 count linen. I don't care for 28 count plain linen. I'm trying to figure out how this goes. And it's definitely, yeah, it's definitely 28 count linen. And it's probably, knowing her, either Hamlet or Misty Morning from Under the Sea Fabrics. But that's her start. I don't know if I will keep this fabric. I put it in my WIP pile though. I don't even know if it's gonna fit on this, thinking about it. 109 by 207, it might fit, but we'll see. An inherited WIP is a WIP, so it made it into the WIP parade. This is, what is this? The scissor sampler. I guess scissor sampler 1 from Tell and Emblem. And I'm stitching it on a 32 count linen, 2/2 with DMC. And here's my progress. I don't know off the top of my head what fabric it is, but it's a really pretty purple. I have not bought scissor sampler 2 yet. I need to, so I can hang them side by side, but yeah, that's my scissor sampler 1. And the last one for the samplers box. This is Pink Sparrow sampler from With Thy Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais, With Thy Needle and Thread. I'm stitching this on 40 count. I believe it is Autumn from Under the Sea Fabrics with the called for overdyes. And here is my progress. I love the colors, these pastel-y kind of colors here. I love them. It fits nicely on a 40 count fat 1/8. So I feel like this is another one that I could probably stitch up pretty quickly looking at it now. All right, so thank you for sitting through an hour and 10 minutes basically of zippers, crinkling, bags, and all my sampler whips. I appreciate it if you've made it through to the end. I will hopefully get another box filmed before the end of the month. I will probably either do my seasonal stitching next or the miscellaneous box next. The seasonal has a lot of Halloween in it, some Christmas, some Easter. I think there's even a couple 4th of July patterns in there. So, and then the miscellaneous is just stuff that doesn't fit into samplers or fancy ladies or holiday. So let me know. The holiday probably has a little bit more in it, but let me know which box you would want to see next. Fancy ladies will definitely be last because they're spread across 2 totes. So thank you guys for watching part 1 of my 4-part WIP parade, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.